Well, good morning and welcome back to the YouTube channel of Old Bloke Crypto. On April the 5th, 2024, it's been about a week since I made a video, a few other things happening in my world. So just getting back into it today prior to the weekend and one trading session to go in the US market. And as I say here, with Ethereum, it's time for the sleeping giant to wake up or else. And when I say sleeping giant, I'll just look at some facts and figures for the nervous Nelly out there who are thinking that Ether's had its day and it's all over by the shouting. It ain't at all. And this is time for opportunity, but I'll get into that in just a moment. And first of all, to the bad news, and we might as well get that out of the way right away. And that is that on the BTC chart, things are looking rather ugly. As I've talked about previously on a number of occasions, the 0.050 mark is the line in the sand, so to speak, on the daily for the Ethereum BTC chart. And you'll see here that we have now broken below that long-term support range and we are down below that. Now, it's on the daily chart. So what we need to do is we need confirmation before we get all frothy and all excited and lathered up about what's going to happen and doom and gloom, etc. So we closed below yesterday. You'll see this, just zoom this in a bit. And you'll see this candle wick here. We have not entirely below, but just above the 0.050 mark there. We have opened and then big red candle to the downside there yesterday. And then continuing on today so far, we're about an hour into the day here on Friday. Now, what that means from a technical analysis perspective is that we have to close this candle, has to close entirely below this resistance. Well, we'll call it resistance level now. It was support, power resistance. Has to complete entirely below to confirm that we are now breaking below that and it's not a deviation. So we'll be watching this over the next day or so to see what happens if there's a reaction and it comes back over and this just turns out to be a deviation. It can happen and it happens on all the different charts. You get deviations around resistance support levels. So you can never just go off one day or one period of time, depends on the time frame you're looking at. You have to then, from technical analysis perspective, you have to have confirmation. There is another type of confirmation, and that is where not only does price close below, but we come back up and test that the old support has new resistance and then move back down to the downside. That is another type of confirmation, a higher time frame confirmation and a more reliable one than just having a complete daily candle close below. So again, both of those strategies we'll be looking at over the next few days. So bad news out in the road. Let's get on to the good stuff. And I say now, nothing that I say here is financial advice. It's just how I trade. You do you. And please hit the like and subscribe buttons and the notification bell to be notified of future videos on this channel. And so here's some good news. A bit more of that to come. Bitcoin halving is 16 days away and there is a rally coming, whether we like it or not. It's just programmed in to the 4-year cycle and that rally will commence before the halving. After the halving, we often have a bit of a sell-off and then before continuation, but there is a rally sometime happening in the next 16 days. And in my opinion, it's going to be sooner rather than later. And I'll show you why as we get further into this video. Again, just a reminder for the nervous Nellies out there, just let's have a reality check about where Ethereum is in comparison to the other blockchains. And this is one of the major statistics. These are the chain rankings. And you'll see here the top blockchain network by DEX total value locked. And have a look at Ethereum here. And it is $2 billion right there. And that's just in daily volume. You see there, BNB and so forth. There's a lot of clear air. Really, your next major chain is Solana, and it's doing great guns and good on them. But you'll see there's a lot of room a lot of gap between the volume on Ethereum and the volume on Solana. And the total value locked, well, you've got Ethereum and then you've got a lot of clear air. And that is one of the big things, the first mover advantage. It was the first alternative chain to Bitcoin, and it's got that first mover advantage. And you'll see there the amount of total value of 8 billion with a B. And then you have a look at the DEXs now. Here, there's a lot of different DEXs coming out now, which is great on the other chains. But you'll see here that there's a solid number of DEXs, despite Ethereum still being quite expensive. One of the downsides, of course. even after the Denkun upgrade in different types of transactions. It can be quite expensive still. So, but anyway, that is that statistic. So that really underscores the dominance that Ethereum has across the DEXs in terms of the total value lock. And just breaking it down a bit further, the DEXs there, you'll see there, Uniswap, Ethereum, Curve, Ethereum, Uniswap V2, Ethereum, and then you've got obviously BNB Chain, more Ethereum, and then Solana. And you'll see there that the well-known and well-used DEXs that are based on Ethereum, and that's just a sample there. Again, doing very well, as are BNB Chain and Solana, but definitely don't write Ethereum off from the decentralized exchange perspective either. So let's look at the funding rates, and they're completely reset. And you're probably wondering, and it's quite reasonable to say, how come we haven't got a big bounce? How come that rally hasn't started? Well, there's market manipulation going on as always. And the big boys are trying to shake out the smaller, weaker hands, the paper hands as they're called, to get the cheaper prices so that they can buy and profit into the rally that's coming before the halvening. Simple as that. So you see here, look, funding rates, basically nothing here. And they've just been falling all week as this correction's been happening. You see for Bitcoin and Ethereum, they're 7% for 8% for Bitcoin and 12% for Ethereum. So really, in the grand scheme of things, when you look back over the last 30 days, funding rates are negligible. The liquidation charts as well, there's been funding games happening on both sides of a fairly narrow band at the moment. And you'll see here, there's plenty of liquidity still coming into the market, and plenty of retail traders still trying their hand to see if they can grab longs and short positions and profit from them. So there's still plenty of activity, as you saw from the volume of the DEXs and so forth, plenty going on, but price stubbornly refuses to break out to the upside as we were waiting for and we're all expecting. So that's the 24-hour chart, and you can see there's lots of liquidity coming in on both sides of the price action. Now let's have a look at the weekly chart to get a higher time frame perspective, which of course is always more valid. Now let's see what that says. And you'll see here again, we've got all this upside liquidity. Now some of this has been taken off the board. There's been the people closing out the positions in profit, which is fine, but there's still many billions of dollars of liquidity to the upside. And certainly there is plenty to the downside as well. If you look at the chart on the higher time frame, you see here, right down in the weeds here, there's billions and billions of dollars of liquidity. So definitely we could get further spikes down into this area. As you'll see here, we've got these spikes down here. It could happen again. Market maker could have one final shakeout. I would not be at all surprised before the reversal, a V-shaped reversal going into the halvening. 16 days, that is not much at all. And speaking of which, and another note from the traditional markets, from TradFi, you'll see here on the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow Jones are all down overnight, and the VIX is up quite a bit. And the thing is, as I've been saying many times, is Uncle Jerome Powell from the Federal Reserve has been saying that they're going to stay the course until the job is done. And so now the market's pricing in 2 rate cuts this year instead of 6 rate cuts not so long ago. And inflation is sticky, and they are not going to drop interest rates until the time's right. Simple as that. So the market's finally starting to wake up to that, and it's giving it a bit of a hit from a TradFi perspective as well. So let's get to the nub of it. What are we going to do in terms of trading? Well, as I've said previously, at the moment, I'm just high time frame trading, got a long position open, which I aim to close out when we get back up to this, the range high around that $4,100, which is the yearly high as well. And you see here at the moment, we're in the middle of the bottom half of this range, just tootling along. This is on the daily, of course, doing not much. And you see here, we're just oscillating around that 50 EMA, important 50 EMA mark, but again, waiting for direction. Really, that direction, as I said, is driven by TradFi and also by King Bitcoin. And speaking of King Bitcoin, and as we referred to that earlier chart, the ETH BTC chart, as you'd expect, it's looking a lot healthier than ETH. And really, it's looking very clearly that it could break out at any time. Strong support. This is the daily again on 50 EMA. No indication that that's going to be broken anytime soon. And if it does approach it, it'll be a wick. But the point is, you look at that and you think any time now that is ready to break out at least to the all-time highs again, to test it, if not blow through it. So it's a waiting game. Remember, 16 days to go until the halvening. So getting back to our Ethereum position, I am not adding at this stage. I've already added at 31.50 was my lowest point that I added at. I'm just sitting and waiting, patiently waiting for the reversal to come. Yes, we could get down here, back down again to this range low, as you've seen down here. And absolutely, when you look at that chart on the daily, you could see there, you could easily imagine it coming back down here and testing these range lows again. But if you don't have a position, certainly you could open a position now and get high time frames. And we're expecting sometime in the next 16 days to get a major reversal to the upside. So you could open a position, you could add to a position if you wanted to. Again, the leverage that you choose is up to you, or you could choose spot. You've got to trade within your means, but be prepared that yes, the sleeping giant is waking up. It's a matter of time, and it'll happen sometime in the next 16 days, not right at the 16 days, because that's the halvening. Really before that, there will be a move up and a short squeeze to the upside to take out those billions of dollars of shorts sometime in the next 16 days. So yes, to finalize and summarize, Ethereum is going to wake up. It's going to wake up sooner rather than later. You want to have a established high time frame, long position open, ready to take advantage of it into the range highs. That is what I am doing anyway. This is Old Bloke Crypto. Trade safely, trade within your leads, and I'll talk to you next time.